After almost 4 months of waiting, Invincible is back, and no one cares. Since the episode was released, I can't shake this feeling of pure disappointment. Not at the show itself, but at its treatment by Amazon. I'm sure for those of you binging Invincible down the line when all the episodes have been released, it will be an enjoyable experience. However, I, like many others, missed the glory days of Season 1. I can't help but feel that the release schedule of Season 2 has heavily impacted not only the social media hype around the show, but the commercial success of it as well. Almost every episode of Season 1 sparked discussion and conversation online, birthing one of the most famous memes of that year. Season 2 in comparison just feels like it's going under the radar. However, is that the real reason for Invincible's lack of attention with its return, or is there more to it? In today's video, I'll be going over everything that contributed to the fall of Invincible in the public consciousness, from the first season to the ignored special, and finally the current season, to show just how inept Amazon have been at handling this show. The era of the Invincible TV show began in late March of 2021. Based on the comic of the same name, the TV show quietly released its first 3 episodes. Prior to its release, the trailers got a good response with great views, and while the core fans of the comic were excited, many people were just curious about an animated show that had such a star-studded main cast. Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons as the titular characters was enough to get me, and clearly many other people, to watch the first 3 episodes. From there, the show took off. Omni-Man's murder of the bootleg Justice League went completely viral and took over the internet. Clips got millions of views on all social medias, and by the time episode 4 was released, everyone was watching. Invincible shot up on Google Trends and was trending on Twitter every week after an episode aired. The show was a hit, and all it needed to do was continue to deliver, and man, did it deliver. Every episode had the timeline buzzing, and the show was actually good. An animated show with mature characters and storylines. The show was gory, which wasn't common for Western animation, and it clearly was not for kids. Us anime watchers know how enjoyable adult-oriented animated shows and movies can be, but the West is still catching on, and this show was at the front lines of that mindset shift. The show continued to peak in both viewership and reception, and this all culminated in the final episode of Season 1, Where I Really Come From. This episode changed the landscape of Invincible forever. As the title suggests, this was the episode where Mark finally found out who his father actually was, a brutal warrior from the society of conquerors with an empire spanning across the galaxy. He reveals that he was sent to Earth to weaken the planet by himself to get it ready to join the Viltrum Empire. Mark is distraught by this revelation that his dad is essentially a space colonizer. While Omni-Man explains how long Viltrumites live, he calls Mark's mother a pet, and that's when Invincible loses his cool and fights his dad. So at this point, there was 2 ways to go in the story. Either Mark could beat his dad, happy ending, and train for the inevitable Viltrumite invasion, or he could lose to his dad, but the show wouldn't do that, right? The good guys always win in Hollywood. Well, if you guessed the latter, you were right. Mark gets fucking destroyed. He gets beat so badly that his dad gives him a TED talk midway through, which happens to be the meme used worldwide. After realizing he actually does love his son and can't actually go through with killing him, Omni-Man leaves the planet, and the rest of the episode is everyone dealing with the fact that Omni-Man killed the bootleg Justice League, killed multiple agents, and turned out to be evil pretty much. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and help me reach that goal. The episode ends a few months later with a recovered Invincible going to the moon to fight an unknown entity. It turns out to be Alan the alien returning and talking to Mark about the crazy shit that's happened. Alan gives him more context about the Viltrumites and what they've done to people, including his own planet. He tells Mark about the power struggle between the coalition of planets and the Viltrum Empire in the farthest reaches of space, and how the coalition is trying to unite enough planets to stop the Viltrumites, and Mark says he'll do what he can to help. And boom, like that, the curtain is closed on a successful Season 1. Fans are pleased, Amazon is pleased, and it's a huge successful round. Surely the next season was released maybe a year and a half later, right? Wrong. This is where Amazon made their first real mistake, taking over 2.5 years to release Season 2. And while I understand that animation takes long to complete, they kept the episode count to a fairly low 8, and even if you factor in the length of Invincible episodes, which are usually double that of like an anime, it's still only 16 episodes, so a 2.5 year wait is still somewhat ridiculous. After they struck gold, everyone assumed that Invincible Season 2 would be one of their highest priority projects. Instead, we waited and waited, and then we got something new in July 2023, an Atom Eve special. And to be honest, as a fan of the show, I did enjoy the special, and it was interesting to see her backstory. She's much more of a tragic character than I realized. We also got to see a younger version of the Guardians of the Globe. Yes, I'm using their names finally. The Green Woman was actually a guy this time, and Black Samson was looking like Giancarlo in Do the Right Thing. The special also recontextualizes some of the scenes with her parents in Season season 1 and just makes Eve a more laid character as a whole. Unfortunately, the special didn't really receive much attention given that it didn't include any of the main characters really, and general audience don't typically show up with specials about side characters, especially side characters that aren't that popular. Now this wouldn't be a bad thing usually, but the fact that the only thing we got in 2 years was an Atom Eve special was a cause for concern. Luckily, I think Amazon recognized that, and 4 months later we got the long awaited premiere of season 2. The fans were happy and pretty much all of them were back. Google Trends had the show at the same level of popularity as the end of season 1, and it showed. People were going crazy about the premiere, and rightfully so. We got so many things, such as a look at an alternative timeline where Mark actually sides with his dad, and the reveal that most Invincibles sided with Omni-Man, and our Mark is actually quite unique. Unfortunately, this was somewhat bad timing on Amazon's part since Multiverse Burnout became a thing fairly recently around the time that it aired, so a lot of people were a little bit annoyed about the fact that Invincible, yet another show, was doing multiverse shit. We also got the potential redemption of Omni-Man and a bunch of other stuff. This season was everything we wanted as Invincible fans. And that brings us to the second half of season 2, which just had its premiere this week. Now I know you might be thinking, bruv, you've done nothing but mention the positives and the popularity of the show, so how the fuck is it dead? And today I would say watch your goddamn mouth and look no further than episode 5 of season 2. You see, prior to the release of this episode, there was a break of 4 months in an 8 episode season. 4 months. To put that into perspective, if Invincible released an episode a week, it would only last 2 months. So to wait double that just to get the second half of an already very short season was ridiculous, and fans were rightfully angry. We had already waited over 2 years for season 2, and after 4 episodes you're making us wait again? This was the final straw for many people. And when I say that, I don't mean that they were boycotting the show or anything like that. I'm talking about the patience that they had for it. It's like talking to one of the mandem that always cancel every time the group wants to meet up. Sure, you'll care for the first few times, but if they keep cancelling, you eventually stop. Your patience runs out and you become indifferent. If the friend shows up, nice, but if they don't, the rest of you can just still chill on Bake Off. It doesn't really move the needle, and that is how the general audience seems to be reacting to Invincible at the moment. I'll watch it eventually. Oh, is it out? I didn't even know. Those are the type of comments that you see on social media now. But how was the actual episode? Episode 5 was one of the best episodes of Invincible I've ever seen. Mark brought his brother back to Earth, so I'm sure that will be an intriguing plotline going forward. I wonder how strong he'll be since he's half Viltrumite at least. The Mars plotline from earlier episodes has come back, with the human left behind by Shapesmith becoming the host of the Sequids and making their way to Earth. This alone admittedly wasn't the most interesting plotline for me, at least. I love Shapesmith and the Martian side of the story, don't get me wrong, but this was like a cool story, nothing spectacular. But that's fine, because what this plotline does is set up where things get really good. To stop the Sequid hive ship, Earth sends pretty much all their strongest heroes on a mission to intercept the aliens. Immortal, Bulletproof, Black Samson, Monster Girl, Shapesmith, Invincible, and Atom Eve. Back on Earth, Rex, Shrinking Ray, and Kate hold down the fort. While they're chilling, thinking how everything's gonna be boring until the rest come back, trying to order pizza and shit, they're attacked by the Lizard League. These guys so far have kind of been a meme and never really that formidable. However, that wasn't always the case. If you watch the Atom Eve special, we saw them somewhat hold their own against the OG Guardians of the Globe. And as we know, some of the new Guardians are pretty fucking weak compared to the OG. So when I saw Duplicate fighting the big lizard who held his own against Immortal, I knew things might go bad. That being said, I thought that this would be their moment. The new Guardians of the Globe have been getting shit on almost every other episode, so the 3 weakest members beating the Lizard League by themselves would have been quite the feat. But I should have known, this is Invincible, not the MCU. Motherfuckers die in this show, and that is exactly what happened. Duplicate gets slammed into herself. Quite the ironic ending for her, but fuck man, it was sad. They literally show her slowly understanding her fate during the fight, realizing that she can't beat this Komodo guy, and eventually that no one can help her because they're all preoccupied. Next we have Shrinking Ray's death, definitely the most brutal one. She goes out swinging though, so I gotta respect it. After Duplicate dies, she runs into one of the villain's eyes after shrinking and destroys his brain. Then she comes out of his eye covered in blood. I'm telling you, this fight was brutal. This whole episode was brutal as fuck. Next, she runs up on the Komodo guy who just killed Kate, shrinks and gets swallowed by him. Rex starts laughing because he thinks, this guy fucked up, since she can just go back to normal inside his guts and basically make him explode from the inside. She tries to revert back to normal while inside him, and no bullshit, it, he outflexes her and crushes her inside his body. If you haven't seen the episode, you need to watch it. Some of the most sadistic murders I've ever seen in animation, or even in live action, to be fair. We even see the air leave her lungs in a blood bubble in his mouth at the end. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Next we have Rex, who again, I gotta give him credit, man. He also was going out swinging. After Ray dies, he tries to run and the lizard bitch slices him and is on his ass. He actually cuts her in half, killing her with his coin. This might be the first time I've seen Rex getting respectable W in the show. Next he pulls up on the big guy who killed Kate and he is actually throwing hands for a bit. Then this hungry nigga eats Rex's hand. The second person he's eaten a part of in like 30 seconds. Unfortunately for him, he ate Rex's hand while he was holding a coin that Rex charged, so it blew up his head. Rex got a 2-kill streak in this episode. I'm telling you, man, this episode, it flipped opinions upside down. It was nuts. Rex got my respect now. He put in work. The fight ends with Rex on the floor at gunpoint. The Lizard King laughs at him, literally bragging about hiding until Rex was too injured to fight back so that he could win. What a fucking bomb. We then cut to the gang in space being overwhelmed by the aliens. Atom Eve's shield breaks, and as they look around at the spiraling swarm of sequids, it cuts to the credits. And if you thought the episode ended there, you'd be wrong, because we get a pretty crazy post-credit scene to end with. It was just banger after banger during this entire episode. Fucking 10 out of 10. Our boy Alan is alive and bigger than ever. Turns out he recovered. Optimus Prime apologizes to him and tells him that he turned off his life support so that Alan would either die from his injuries or heal on his own and become stronger than ever, gambling with his life. Kinda like, you know how Saiyans have the Zenkai boost? Same logic. R.I.P. Akira Toriyama, by the way, man. True legend and a pioneer in both manga and anime with an undeniable worldwide impact and legacy. It sucked to hear that news. Back to the episode. Optimus Prime tells Alan that the reason he turned off his life support was because if he survived off his injuries, he could recover and be able to match a Viltrumite in battle now with his improved strength. He also tells Alan that he's actually the only Viltrumite to ever rebel against the Empire. An insane revelation. Lastly, the episode ends with Alan receiving the mission to go to Earth and bring Mark Grayson to the coalition of planets, since he's the key to turning the tide of this intergalactic war. In short, episode 5 was excellent, with many of the plot lines fans have been waiting for advancing well, and some new status quo shifting revelations coming to light. Usually a show would have some accountability for the lack of attention it's getting, but I think it's clear that Invincible is still a great show. The blame is almost entirely on Amazon and their brain dead release schedule. This show had insane momentum after season 1, and even after taking so long to release season 2, the show managed to regain that momentum once the first half of season 2 had aired, which is rare enough in today's entertainment climate with the short attention span. Now, if that weren't enough obstacles, they crippled the show once more with the hiatus. This is honestly one of the worst fumbles of an excellent show I've ever seen. I truly hope from the bottom of my heart that this video ages like milk. I hope that the general public just had a delayed reaction, and over the next 4 weeks, Invincible can yet again regain its popularity from season 1 and the first half of season 2. I'm genuinely a huge fan of the show and want the best for it, but as of right now, the hype for Invincible is dead. If you enjoyed watching this video, subscribe for more and let me know if you want me to cover Invincible every week.